Get after for 6 to 8 seconds. Guys, this is what we had to get. This ain't the one we want. You got that
Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Laurel Leader Call Sports Show. I'm your host, Jack Fairchilds, joined alongside Kevan Lindsey and our good friend and yours, Josh Guru Nichols. Got a lot of stuff we want to get into tonight, different things, but let's just go ahead and start off with the elephant in the room, and that was that terrible game that was played on Sunday. Now, we're happy to see a local guy hoist the trophy, but guys, that was probably one of the worst Super Bowls we've seen in a long time. Just it wasn't competitive. It was just wasn't a great game. Kevin, what was your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, the only way you were happy, of course, if you were a Laurel fan and rooting for Charles Cross. He didn't give up a sack, didn't have to even give up pressure or anything.
Mm-hmm.
Played
no
really
penalties.
well.
No penalties either.
Yeah, no penalties. Played a perfect game at left tackle. There was the over-under, actually, I looked up on the betting sites that he would give up more than one sack.
Mm-hmm.
And that just didn't happen. So if you were a betting person and you took that bet,
Who did you take that bet?
No. Should have taken how many Will Campbell for the Patriots would give up.
Right. Yeah. But outside of being a Laurel fan or a Seattle fan, there really wasn't much to talk about in the game. I picked the Patriots last week. And
I did too.
But I did say that it was a game that could go either way.
Yep.
The Patriots defense, I felt bad for them.
Look,
they played a really well coached game.
We both said it, and Guru, we're going to go to you because you're the only one who got the pick right last. But I mean, we both said it could go either way, but I don't think either one of us expected it to be domination the way that it was. With that said, Guru, you got the correct pick in the Super Bowl. So go ahead and tell us what you thought of this lackluster game.
The defense of Seattle, number one. I mean, if you realistically want to give out the MVP to who it really went to, you'd have to give it to the whole defense of Seattle.
Or the Seattle kicker.
We can't give it to a kicker. But, no, their game plan on both sides of the ball was outstanding. They executed well. I mean, you got to give props to the Patriots defense there in the first half because despite they gave up 4 field goals, they only gave up field goals. They didn't give up touchdowns because it could have been a lot worse than what the final score ended up being. But like you already said, it's one of the worst ones we've watched in a while. We've been spoiled the last several years with having some good ones. I mean, I know last year when the Eagles beat the Chiefs, the Eagles pummeled Kansas City early. Kansas City tried to fight back, but nobody gave a crap because we like seeing Kansas City lose. But overall, it was a bad Super Bowl. It was a bad halftime show.
Yeah.
No, let me rephrase that. It was a terrible halftime show.
Which was worse, good, because we watched the Turning Point halftime show, which was pretty good. Which was worse, the game or the Bad Bunny halftime?
There's no debate. I mean, come on, dude. This is the Super Bowl. I mean, okay, fine. You want to go out and get a Spanish artist to come in and perform. That's cool. But at least give me some damn subtitles so I can know what the dude's saying. I don't speak Spanish. I mean, it was terrible.
I think they were worried about the FCC if they did that.
It's possible. I mean, but you have a damn wedding during the performance and everything.
That was the coolest part out of all. There was a real wedding. To me, that was the coolest part.
You would like that.
I mean, come on, you got married at the Super Bowl.
But wait a second, Kevin. You were supposed to be watching this because you said last week, I'm going to watch the Bad Bunny performance.
Yeah, I watched it.
No, you already admitted you watched the Turning Point USA.
I watched it on TikTok.
You had your laptop going with Bad Bunny and TV had Turning Point.
Because you both were like big Bad Bunny fans last week. Big time. Guru even said, I even went and listened to some of his songs, and he's pretty good.
Can we just clear the air with this halftime show stuff? Bad Bunny was on. He performed in the Super Bowl 6 years ago.
Yeah,
When
but he wasn't the headline.
Right, when Shakira and Jennifer Lopez was the headliners, right? And nobody had a problem with it because we had English speakers. too.
Exactly.
Like, we had no problem with, like, I don't have a huge problem with Bad
And it
Bunny.
wasn't political then.
Right, it wasn't political and all this, and people weren't shaking their fists and stuff. And look, and I'll call out my own fan base here with the Kid Rock stuff. They promoted this as a Christian event, and there were aspects of that were true, but it's Kid Rock who opened up talking about strippers and everything else, like before he changed to his.
Well, they say
God-given name.
that was supposed to tell the story of a redemptive art. That's where he was to where he is now. I mean, whatever. I think we've spent enough time talking about that miserable Super Bowl, and even way more time than we needed to on the halftime crowd.
We got Taylor
Way
Swift.
too much.
Look, I'm not muting Kevin for that because I honestly agree.
At least we would have understood what she was saying.
Taylor Swift would have been a slam dunk pick.
And she could have
And I'm
brought,
not a fan, but she would have been.
and she could have brought Travis Kelce out as a guest dancer. Or
He would have got to go to the Super Bowl.
Yeah. Both of them. He could have brought both Kelsey brothers. Hey, shout out to Callie. She had a really good suggestion. She suggested 21 Pilots, and because she's a huge 21 Pilots fan. But I'm gonna tell both of y'all, after going to their show, they would put on an insane halftime performance. They really would. And I mean, I think people who appreciate rock and who appreciate new music too would appreciate their show just because of what they do. I'm campaigning for either Post Malone or
I was gonna say
21 Pilots.
Post Malone Jelly Roll,
Yeah, like
They're going to
Tiger Stadium, Death
they're going to
Valley,
Oxford.
and Oxford.
Yeah,
They're going to Oxford. So I thought of both of you when I saw. I didn't know they were going to Baton Rouge.
Yeah.
But
that's where we're going. To
Kevin's got tickets.
I saw today they were going to Oxford. So let's get off of music. We're a sports show. Time to move off of music. One other game this weekend that did live up to the hype was incredible. Was that Duke UNC game that we talked about last week? Look, I picked Duke and I was rooting for Duke, but I was giddy at the way that, because I just love a buzzer beater. I love a classic ending. When I saw Kevin loves dropping things on live broadcast,
I lost my bullet.
That's what she said.
I was good. Anyway,
I don't know where it went.
Well, the thing is, in that storied history, we've had endings like that before, but it's
Both
been
ways.
a while.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been a while. And I was in the kitchen with my little 24-inch kitchen TV going, and I was fixing dinner or something. I don't remember what. But I was watching the game, and when that shot went in, I, of course, being a Carolina fan to some degree, let out a yell, and from the living room, I hear Alyssa. She I don't know what the hell she was watching, but she's like, "What is going on?" And I was like, Carolina just beat Duke on a game-winning three-pointer at the buzzer." And then idiocracy happens. I mean, give me a freaking break. You're a top 15 team. Don't storm the court.
Oh, come on.
No.
Storming.
No, I don't have a problem. Last night or Tuesday night, TCU upset number 5 Iowa State on their home court. They're not ranked. They're in the middle to the bottom half of the pack in the Big 12. They storm the court. I'm cool with that. But this is a rivalry game.
Exactly.
You're a top 15 team. No, you don't storm the court.
I have a bigger problem with the refs going back and putting the
Let it be
amount
over.
of time.
Let it be over.
And I got a question, but let's get Kevin's thoughts on the game because I know he watched it too. So, what did you think? You were rooting for, or did you not watch the game?
I didn't watch any of it.
All right.
Look,
I see. This is my own fault, Goo, because I should have muted him for mentioning Taylor Swift.
So here's what I'll do. I'm going to pull the curtain back a little bit. If I don't catch a big game, and it's especially good for college baseball, there's a YouTube channel that posts like the game in like 10
Highlights.
minutes. Yeah, 10 minutes. And that's what I did. Now, of course, I was keeping up with it on my phone.
Yeah.
But I went to the, like right after.
You were You were probably downtown at that point. Anyway,
Yeah, that's
at the
right. You were
Mardi
working.
Gras parade.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Wilson's had it on in the inside. We
sure
were
they
outside.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, as soon as I saw buzzer beater, because I think I got a notification for it, went on there and looked it up. I mean, man, it just adds to the rivalry. What we talked about.
Oh yeah.
I mean,
It's
I
incredible.
don't have a problem with the court storming just because it's a rivalry game, and to me,
I didn't necessarily have a problem with the courts because of what the game was. I get Guru's point, but again, it's to UNC, and you just saw something incredible. Now, the bigger problem is the refs going back and putting the time. And if you're gonna do that, and this is the question I had, should there have been a technical for the storming? Because how long it took? Because there's some arguing. I'm glad there wasn't, even though I was rooting for Duke. That would have cheapened everything we saw. North Carolina did not lead at all until that shot went through. I mean, they trailed the entire game. So I'm glad that there wasn't, but the question is, by the rules, because the fans stormed the court with times, should there have been a technical? Guru, yes.
I don't know. We hand out red cards in soccer after the game is over.
We're getting to
So
that.
I mean,
Yeah.
you know, I would agree. It would have cheapened everything. And you know, that's the one thing with replay to an extent where it just sometimes it just gets in the way of the moment. Because 15, 20 years ago, that game was over after that court storming.
Yeah.
Refs are running off. It's over. It's done.
0.4 seconds.
And you got to go the length.
Yeah, you're
because
not gonna hit a
because
shot.
something we've discussed and it's stupid and it needs to be changed. If you have a timeout like Duke did, they should have been able to advance the ball to half court. It would have made it, you know, a better opportunity.
You can
and
in the NBA.
then you're like, okay, I get you reviewing it. But when they have to go the length of the floor, I mean, this isn't Leitner against Kentucky. They had a full second. I
They
mean,
had 1.7.
he had time to catch, turn,
Bounce.
and shoot, and that sucked too. But
all you can do is kind of just grab and
at that point,
almost be in the motion.
Yep.
Whenever you're grabbing.
Do you think there should have been a
No, there shouldn't have been a technical, and we shouldn't even had to review it. I mean,
agree.
I say that I am an Auburn fan.
I was going to say, you know, there are times
yeah,
when a second or even a portion of a second does matter.
but I mean, if they don't review the, I was thinking the Auburn Texas A&M game. If they don't review that and they just let it go, that's a field goal win. You know.
Yeah.
With the football game that you were referencing, I mean, there was a second left. I think they even ruled that there was still a second.
Oh yeah, it was evident. I remember watching that with part of my family, and they all thought, you know, all right, we're going to overtime. I said, no, they're fixing to put a second back on the clock because I remember watching as that foot hit out of bounds and watching there being a second on the clock.
Yeah, I just, you know, I mean, I don't think there should have been a technical, and like you said, 0.4 seconds. What can you do? I get that, you know, there's miracles.
There's crazy things that have happened, but
I just,
Not at the length of the court, though, unfortunately.
I mean,
no, they do.
yeah. Anyway,
Yeah, but weren't they down two? So you'd have to basically tip in a three, length of the court. I'm not sure that we've seen that. So anyway, we'll move on to our high school basketball regional tournaments. We're going to run through these real quick, and then we'll get into who we think might win out of our local teams that are left. We're going to start here with the Region 3 6A tournament at Terry. West Jones boys, unfortunately, they are out. They lost 69-39 to Hattiesburg, but the girls advanced with a win over Hattiesburg 45-29.
In a rivalry match.
Yeah, in a rivalry match, of course. Thank you for both of them are rivalry matches. Thank you for the help.
You're welcome.
They will face Forest Hill Friday night. So again, the West Jones girls advancing. Who do you guys think what's going to happen Friday night? West Jones versus Forest Hill there, Terry?
West Jones will win this game.
West Jones rolls.
It's unanimous. I'm going with West Jones as well.
Fly the dub.
Then we've got the Region 3A at North Pike tournament. The boys, Laurel lost to North Pike 72-58. South Jones won over Summerall 62-21.
Nail biter.
Yeah. They will play Brookhaven tomorrow night, and they will face, if they win, they will face either the winner of Natchez and North Pike on Friday. So who do you have in South Jones versus Brookhaven on Thursday night?
Be North Pike and South Jones.
Yeah.
Same.
Gotcha. I'm right there with you guys. And do you guys want to venture a guess between North Pike and South Jones in that fictional matchup?
South Jones.
Real quick, I will have to confirm that, but with Laurel losing to North Pike, I think that takes them out of the playoffs because they were a
I think you're right.
seed.
Yep.
That's crazy. They were in Jackson last year, and yeah, I'm pretty sure they're out of the playoffs because we discussed it, them being a 5 seed and top 4 get in.
Well, who you got in the fictional matchup? He said South Jones over North Pike for the championship. Who you got, Kev?
South Jones.
I'm gonna make it unanimous. Stick with the local team. in South Jones.
Retribution for that football horrible loss.
And for their earlier loss in basketball court to them.
Yeah, North Pike is no joke.
No, they're not. I would not. It and it's at North Pike, so that makes it that much tougher. But give me the Braves in that one. All right, next we're going to the Region 4 5A. They're right down the road at the Jungle, Northeast Jones.
Oh, you forgot the Summerall and South Jones girls.
Oh yeah. Thank you. I forgot the West Jones girls. So we'll go back and do girls after we finish boys.
No, you got the girls.
Yeah, you got West Jones girls. We just
I
We
did,
picked
I
the
did.
game against Forest
All right.
Hill.
Summerall beat South Jones girls 67-50. South Jones girls have struggled this year. They are out. Laurel plays Summerall Thursday, and when they win, I'm spoiling who I'm picking in that one. They will face the winner of Brookhaven and North Pike on Friday, which I think Laurel's winning this region hands down in the girls. They've just been so dominant. I think we're all in agreement, Kevin.
Yeah, definitely. Laurel girls are going to win it by however much they want to win it.
I was going to say the same thing. I don't care who they're playing in this region tournament. It doesn't matter. They've already proven that throughout the year.
Next, we've got the going back to where I started to try to go when I tried to unfortunately skip over the girls. The Region 4 5A at the Jungle there at Northeast Jones. On the boys' side, Northeast Jones won on Monday in overtime, 62-58. But then they flipped around and lost to Stone by 1 point last night. They will play Van Cleve in the consolation game on Friday. Kevin, you explained to me downstairs, so I'll let you explain again. Explain why the consolation game matters.
Yeah, if I'm not mistaken, this might actually affect Laurel with the constellations that the Laurel boys didn't think about that. If I'm not mistaken, I know your first 2 seeds are locked up. You're 1 and 2 seeds. So let's just take Region 4 5A, right? In Region 4 5A, and I'll use the Northeast Jones girls as an example. Wayne County is the 1 seed. Northeast is the 2 seed. I think, and I could be completely wrong and just blowing smoke, right? But I think your other seeds are determined on this district or region. I'm gonna say district tournament game and constellation games. So I think Northeast Jones boys, they're still a lock at the 2 seed, even though they lost. I do think they're a lock, and they're just playing to play at this point to get the constellation.
No, I'm going to correct you because
Okay.
I pulled it up. The only thing is they finished the regular season 3rd, the Northeast Jones boys. So they're
they can still
playing.
compete for 3rd, right?
Yeah, that's basically what this game is for.
Okay.
From what I've read.
Gotcha.
So, who you got? Who you got in the consolation game, Kevin?
I think because it's at Northeast, they let the boys play their competition a lot, but I do think that they'll come out and they'll win this one.
Guru?
Yeah, Van Cleve finished 4th. They've played twice this year. One time at Van Cleve, 4-point game, and the last time they met in the Jungle on January 23rd. Northeast had an 8-point win, so it'll probably be a tight game. That seems what it's been for Northeast in this district tournament in their first 2 matchups, but I'll go with them winning in the Jungle.
We'll keep it all of us picking the home team as we go into the girls' game. Northeast Jones beat Purvis 42-26, and they will play Wayne County for the championship on Friday night. This is going to be a tough game for Northeast Jones girls. I'll get the pick started this time. I think Wayne County is going to be too much for them. It's at the Jungle, so anything's possible. But give me Wayne County.
Yeah, I want to pick Northeast really bad.
Me too.
They're just a good story, and the last time I was there,
I was going to say, weren't you there when they played Wayne County at home?
yeah, I mean they were there, and like I told y'all last time, they slowed things down. It was like a 7-5 game or whatever after the first period. You know, they're down just by like I think 4 in the second. It was that third quarter where Wayne County got the lead built up, and then Northeast Jones rallies in the fourth. And of course, they had a couple of injuries that were like the players having to come in and out. I'm going to pick Wayne County in this one just because they're 2-0. But I would not be shocked if Northeast Jones upsets Wayne County in this game and grinds out a 1, 2, 3-point win and wins the district championship.
I'd love to be wrong.
But yeah, I would too. I'll just say, give those girls all their flowers. Northeast Jones fans, if you're not going to the soccer game that we're going to be talking about in a bit, and you want to go somewhere that's inside, go support those girls. 3 wins last year, now playing for a district championship. Yep. That is just an amazing feat. Coach Summerall and what he's doing there, and those girls, he's got them believing. I'm all on board for them to make a run.
So, correct me if I'm wrong here. You stated that basically these two are Wayne County's 1, Northeast is 2, regardless of what happens.
Pretty much, yeah.
That's asinine. That is absolutely stupid because you shouldn't even be playing the district tournament if I win it, even if I'm a 4 seed, I should be number 1.
Yeah,
that's how we do in the collegiate level.
Yeah, that's the way I understand.
I'm pretty sure you're right. And with that being the case, why even play the 1s and 2s?
Why have the? I've had a hard time trying to understand, and I understand conference tournaments on a collegiate level. To me that's a different beast than this region tournament on high school. The region tournament just doesn't make much sense to me.
Not especially if you have the top 2 seeds already set before you even play the district tournament.
That's the way I could be, like I said, I could be completely wrong.
We'll
Coach
update that.
Come in here and correct me.
Yeah. If somebody else watching, leave a comment in the comment section or reach out to us here at the paper and let us know if we're giving out wrong information, because we don't want to be. That's just our understanding of it. I mean, hell, we cover a lot of crap around here, so sometimes there's a few things that slip by.
A lot of crap.
And I mean, when you're out till 3-4 o'clock in the morning delivering papers last night, like we were, we're kind of running on fumes anyway, so give us a little bit of a break.
Well, it's also the reason that a segment that we have down that's supposed to last 1 to 2 minutes is probably gone 20 minutes. Guru, who are you picking in that game?
I'm going to take the upset after their last meeting on their home floor. Unless what Kevin was talking about, unless those players for Wayne County just are in the entire game and they're not in and out like he was talking about, I think Northeast Jones is going to take the district championship.
Now let's switch gears, because again, last week, we teased our baseball, softball preview section that was pretty good. So we have had we've had a chance to talk to almost every team in the area. Guru, of course, did a bang-up job previewing Northeast Jones baseball and softball. Kevin did an incredible job previewing the West Jones baseball and softball. I did an adequate job previewing South Jones baseball and softball. But if you're looking at Guru and you're seeing the frustration on his face, I think that's because the school that I didn't mention that wasn't featured in the preview, Laurel High School, because they allegedly have a baseball team. Guru at least has photographs proving that they do have the softball team. Guru, talk to us about Laurel baseball and softball, if you dare. You're a former.
I'm giving him the
You're
kick.
a former Laurel baseball player yourself.
Correct. I'm gonna save them for last. I think Coach Charles Lee at Laurel for the softball team is he's really working hard to turn what has and listen, folks. This is no disrespect to any of these kids. And I'm going to explain in a minute, but this all falls back on the administration that's currently in place at Laurel School District. Coach Lee had his team in this past summer, and it's probably the first time that it's happened, maybe ever, for them. They played out at the Sportsplex. They played against several teams. Laurel Christian, who is a team that, plays for MAIS state championships, has won a couple. Wes Jones was another that he mentioned, and there was a couple other that I'm not going to say them because I don't want to get it wrong. But they were competing, and they were working in the off season, getting ready to get into this season. Now, the thing that's tough for him, and this is going to correlate over to baseball as well, but he has 20 girls on his roster. I went out for practice Monday afternoon at 4:15. These guys already know that by 4:15 at West Jones, Northeast Jones, and South Jones, those kids are most likely done or in their last 15 to 30 minutes of practice because they all get to start at 1:30.
Yeah.
And here's the catch, folks. In our 3 county schools, they have an athletics period in the 7th period. Laurel doesn't for any sport. That includes football. The kids aren't allowed to go until the 3:45 bell rings. And because of the way they run their school calendar, different than the Jones County School District, their school days are actually a little bit longer than the ones for the 3 county schools. So they get out at 3:45, okay? Well, for softball, they then have to travel over to West Drive to what is known in these parts as the Boot Smith Field, because that's where Laurel Lady Tornado softball has their own field. So then you have another problem, because when their preview comes out this Saturday, if you look at their roster, it's filled almost half with 7th, 8th, 9th graders. Guess what? They can't drive. They're not old enough to have a license.
So they have to bus them out there, or they have to find rides?
No, he's been trying to get a bus, but he still doesn't even have the use of a bus to take them over there. So they have to either catch a ride with one of the assistant coaches, or mom, granddaddy. I know he pointed out, or one of the assistants pointed out to somebody's grandfather who was out there watching practice. Kudos to him for being there and supporting his granddaughter and getting her to practice. But they are working, as the old saying goes, they're stuck behind the 8 ball, and
through no fault of their own.
To no fault of the players or the coaches.
No.
I mean, they're dealt what they've got, and they just have to run with it. And just a shout out to Coach Lee for what he's doing to try to turn the program around. And I'm not going to go into any more details about them, because we'll let you read the feature or the preview on them to get a little bit more into his thoughts on the upcoming season. Now we're going to go to baseball. Not name calling, because, my friend, we all know you're in the most difficult situation of any coach of any sport in the Free State. And it's sad. It is extremely sad. I'm not going to mention another gentleman's name who at one time was close to the program. His oldest son, I actually played with at Laurel for 2 years. He was 2 years behind me. And he had 2 other sons that came through the baseball program at Laurel. Jordan Rogers, the head coach. Ian Sharp was an assistant before they both left to go to South in the early 2010s. And that was about the last time Laurel baseball was not only relevant, but competitive. Jack could go into detail, which we're not going to, and tell you just how extremely difficult things were for Tornado baseball last year.
I'll just say this before you finish. It was difficult enough we quit including them in our baseball roundup at someone's request, which was okay, because tell the story of I'll give you 30 seconds, the story of the no-hitter game. They actually had a game that they got mercy ruled that they technically threw a no-hitter in.
I mean, that's pretty tough to do.
Wasn't a perfect game, obviously, but they didn't give up any hits.
You throw a no hitter and get beat like, what was it, like 15 or 14 to nothing, something
17.
even worse than I thought.
Yeah.
No,
it was only 2 innings.
You want to talk about? I mean, I made the comment Laurel softball's playing behind the 8 ball. Laurel baseball is not even on the pool table, unfortunately. I spoke with someone that's close to the team who told me that at some practices he has 18 players. Then the next day there's only 6. Doesn't know who's going to be there. Their season's supposed to start Friday. At one point, we know from talking to people close to the program last year, there were times that they only had 9 guys show up for a game. And it's just really, really sad because the mid to late 80s through around 2011, 2012, I mean, Laurel baseball was one of the dominant teams, not only in the county, but in the south part of Mississippi.
They were a power in the state.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, my junior year, we got up as high as number 3 going into the playoffs. And I mean, the 2 years prior to that, and they won state in, I believe it was 89. And you know, it's just sad. And there's not going to be a preview because unfortunately they don't even know who's on their roster, and we're just going to leave it at that.
And also, I want to add to this, because I know Guru. I mean, you graduated, played there. I can remember whenever I first started covering sports. That would have been about 2012. They had some athletes out there. I mean, they did.
Yeah.
They had structure too.
Yeah, I remember when I was in high school, which was around the same time you were, we in Vicksburg, Mississippi, knew who Laurel baseball was.
And I'll say, I think that this is a bigger problem that, and I'm gonna watch what I say here because there's people there that I really respect and I like. This was a problem that started with previous administration. I'll just say that.
I'll go one step further and say it all started after Dr. Beningo left Laurel School District.
That's the time frame I've heard. But
Well,
I'm not the expert that you.
And I'll say this, and I think I told you this, and I told both of y'all, I think we talked about it maybe Monday or Tuesday. I think with the rule of not having an athletics period, it's hurting. Obviously baseball and softball. We see that.
It's hurting every sport that's not women's basketball.
Right. And we know that Coach Ernest is a good football coach. The staff there is a good coaching staff.
Really good.
But I told y'all this. When I look at an 0-6 start, and it wasn't just with Coach Ernest. Coach Breland was there too when they would get off to these slow starts. And knowing now and realizing that they can't they can't practice till 4:00. By the time you get 60 or 70 football players in there,
yeah, you're talking
probably,
after 4:00.
Yeah, you're talking 4:30 at the earliest. You got to do film study. You got to be in the weight room. You got to practice with or without pads. You got to do all of this stuff.
Put in a game plan for that week's opponent.
Yeah.
And you're already at that point. By the time you actually hit the field, whether it's whatever time between 4 and 4:30, you're already almost 3 hours behind your 3 county brethren who at that point, most of them are done with the on-field practice and are either in the weight room or watching film, like you said. And they're, you're just into the first hour of practice and all those kids are already at home.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. I'm sorry, Jack, but that's the thing that I was going to say is we talked about, well, you've got some dedicated athletes. Yeah. You have a Charles Cross that come from there who just won a Super Bowl. You've got a kid who's going to Memphis to play wide receiver. Those are outlier kids that are dedicated. That's their craft.
Yeah.
If we're talking college athletics, that's their career. But most high school kids, I'm not saying it's a bad thing, But most high school kids, this is just a hobby for them.
Yeah.
And
Well,
if you're behind the 8 ball.
I mean, we've got to move on,
Yeah.
into our other baseball and softball previews. And I don't think that this is a discussion that we're done with. I think we're going to come back to this discussion, especially as we get further out of high school season and where we have other topics, because there's definitely, I mean, I have this down on our rundown as Laurel frustration, and that's done that way, not just because Guru was, but because it's an overall frustration at the way that it's structured. But Guru, to something that is structured, you had the chance to also meet with the softball teams and the baseball teams at Northeast Jones. So kind of give us a little bit of an idea of what to expect from those two programs.
Well, we'll go on the baseball side of things first. Coach Hunter McKeever and the Tigers, made it to the third round of the playoffs last year. He lost a pretty solid core of senior players, and when you lose a guy like Caden Badgett, who was Mr. Everything in sports at
got
Northeast
a clutch hit
Jones.
just the other day at East Central.
There you go. Just starting well off into his freshman campaign in JUCO. And, one thing he stressed to me when we talked was that, especially in the early part of the season and 2 games in, we've already seen it, that they were going to struggle offensively. He said he felt like they were going to have to lean heavily on pitching and defense to a significant degree, and maybe at times they might have to resort to try to play small ball offensively, trying to get guys moving on the bases, utilizing hit and run or just a bunting, trying to move runners over, get them in a scoring position. I think overall the redistricting for them did them no favors when it comes to baseball.
Tough district.
I mean, when you got Van Cleve, East Central, Stone, and he even mentioned, Wayne County is, they go through their hills and valleys, and he feels like this is one of the times that they're more on the hillside than the valley. Yeah. So, I mean, that's 4 other schools right there that you're having to compete with to just get in the playoffs this year. I feel like when the dust settles at the end of the season, it could be a 4 seed. Maybe they sneak in as a 3 seed. I do feel like they'll be a playoff team, but they're going to take some bumps and bruises throughout the month of February and until they get into region play or district play in March. On the softball side, Coach Nancy Brazier has she only has 3 seniors this year, but I think they're going to be pretty good as far as their senior leadership goes. 2 of them, help me remember Myrick's first name. Carolyn Myrick.
Hit a 2-run ball on the pitch last night. I heard the cheers at the soccer field, by the way.
There you go. She's their top pitcher. There's another young girl on the team that she said, Coach Brazier said, is going to be at minimum playing in junior college for somebody next year. They made it to the first round of the playoffs before they lost. But then again, and she said things similar to Coach McKeever, they're playing in a district that has those coast teams. And for those that don't remember, we haven't had fast pitch softball as long as your coastal schools, your Jackson Metro schools, teams that have been playing fast pitch softball for decades. And we've only had it for 15 years maybe? Yeah. If that. I don't even think it's been that long. But they're going to be competitive. I think they have a core group, especially in the junior and sophomore class, that is going to be instrumental. And I look for them to get out of the first round this year. I don't know how much further they will go depending on how the bracket plays out and everything, but they're going to be. I think overall they're going to be a little bit better than they were a year ago.
Absolutely, it's exciting. So, Kevin, tell us about softball and baseball at West Jones, because you got a chance to sit down and talk with those coaches and a few of the players.
Yeah, first of all, really fun group. They had 5 seniors. Unfortunately, one was out. He had a
You talking softball or
Oh,
baseball?
I'm sorry, baseball. Baseball. Yeah, really fun group. 5 seniors. One was out. He had, I think it was a medical issue. I think it was like something minor. So I just got to chill out with the 4 seniors. One very familiar, Leo Stinson. He's on the baseball team. He punter for the football team and signed Pearl River. Good kid. Just really fun group. Talking with them and doing their photo shoot. Talking with Coach Trey Sutton. Man, this team has a chance to be really, really special. He was very positive about his bats up and down the lineup. Just tons of hitters. Then on the mound, you got one who's solidified. His number 1 is, but then from 2 and 3, he kind of thinks he knows where it's at. But then it's just kind of sorting itself out. And I don't want to talk too much because I'd rather you go read the preview. But just kind of talking to him and how I described it, it was putting a puzzle piece together. All the pieces are there, and it's just moving that puzzle piece together. And, I told you guys I walked out there on the field, and Coach Sutton was out there on the third baseline. I thought it was kind of funny. I just eased out there and kind of eased up the side of him. And he said, "Man, I need a catcher." And I was like, "I'm sure you got somebody out here." And he said, "Oh, yeah." He said, "I just got to find him, And he was like, "Watch this." And they're batting and hitting balls out there to the outfield, center field and right field. And he tells one of his players, "Hey, bang one out to center field." Kid hits one out center field. And he's got an 8th grader there, run down, made a slide and dive and catch. I mean, it was just insane. And he's like, "Dude, kid's quick." He's like, "Yeah, he's 8th grader." And he's like, "I'm probably eventually going to have to bring him up to varsity," but he's like, "I don't want to tell him that too quick. He just had big." But they are just top to bottom. I think they have a chance to really make a run. And they got put out by, I think it was state champions actually last year. But this team has a chance to do something special. Like I said, top to bottom, just putting those pieces together. The coaching staff is a great coaching staff, and Coach Sutton obviously knows ball. On the softball side, they brought in Lane Jordan to fill the head coach role. Lane, very familiar around here if you know baseball. He was at Taylorsville, often referred to as Wintersville. They won the state title in 24, were state runners-up in 25. He comes to West Jones to coach softball, and I love the mentality that he has here. And they only have 2 seniors on the team, but I love
a team that really struggled last year because of circumstances outside of the players' control.
Yeah, this was a team that, it's kind of like what you referenced Laurel, where you just kind of feel bad for them in a certain way. That's how I felt with West Jones. There's talent there. There was just outlying circumstances out of their control that they couldn't help, and the season just spiraled. They did make the playoffs. They came together at the end. I think that's impressive, even though they got put out. They came together and got in the playoffs. And Coach Jordan, I think he's a winner, man. I do. And he's eyeing the talent, trying to figure out where he needs to put where and who he needs to put where. He's got a lot of young kids. I think both of his pitchers are freshmen, freshmen, maybe an 8th grader. So there's going to be challenges and there's going to be hurdles, and they may get beat up on. And he even referenced that. He's like, but you got to pick yourself up. You got to dust yourself off. And we talked, and he said, "I'm here to win." He said, "I hate losing, and I want to win, and I want our girls to have that mentality of hating to lose and wanting to win." And that's what you got to get, because you're rebuilding this program. And I'm really excited to see what they do. Their record might not show the progress, but I think you're going to be able to see progress with your eyes whenever you go out there. And that's what I'm excited about. If they can go in and get a 3 seed this year, that's huge for them in that program.
Absolutely.
Well, I want to interject one thing because I know there might be some people a little unfamiliar with when you hear him talk about a guy that's been a state championship baseball coach now moving over to softball. That's something that can't be taken lightly, because I've watched it over the years in Jones County happen on several occasions. And I don't know what it is. I guess it's because in all these coaches, these male baseball coaches also played baseball growing up, played it on the high school, most of them at some type of collegiate level. And when they bring that over into softball, it typically goes pretty well. It might take a year or two, but I've watched it long enough that when they bring that baseball mentality to a smaller, compact game, that it tends to work out well for the program. And I wish Coach Lane and the Lady Mustangs all the best of luck this year after what the girls that are back from a year ago had to suffer through last year.
It's exciting. And when I get to South Jones softball preview, we'll be talking about another new face, but familiar face, but a new head there. But I'm going to start with baseball just like y'all do and talk about the defending 5A South State champion, South Jones Braves. Of course, Coach Strickland was pretty clear this is not last year's squad, nor does he want them to have any pressure to match or exceed what they did last year. He said that despite the fact that they were the state runner-up, he said, nope, there's no pressure to try to get over that hump and win a state championship this year. He does have 8 seniors again this year, but only a couple of them have, a lot of playing time. You've got Malin Dykes and Ian Butler were regular starters on last year's team. You had Walker Johnson, who saw meaningful innings pitched, but he wasn't a regular starter yet. I think one of the names that they're most excited about is freshman Beckett Johnson, who last year played as an 8th grader and exceeded expectations. And that people were really high on this kid last year coming in. He's probably the only definite starter right now as far as a pitcher at the moment. So it's going to be interesting because, Coach Strick said that he's really trying to – he's going to have to throw some kids out there and try to figure out who 2 and 3 starters are. It's not like it was last year where he knew he had Dylan. He knew he had a Connor Moore. He knew he had Mike Akuda. He knew in that lineup you had had home run hitters like Cambridge McDaniel. You had Dylan who could hit long balls as well. It's a different team. He described them as they're going to have to be dirt bags, get dirty out there on the field, do everything they can in order to make the play. Something y'all both talked about, play small ball this year. They're not going to be relying on the big home run hit, the triple, the double. Not saying they can't get them, but their thoughts are, let's grind out every play. Watching them at the Jones Jamboree, they're a fast team. They're faster, I think, than they were last year, which I think will help with some of that mentality that they have. And I'll talk about what I saw with Northeast when I get done with these previews too. But it's an exciting team. Where will they finish in their region? The region has changed around. It's a winnable region, but it's not necessarily a guarantee either. It really is just going to be how the puzzle pieces fit together for Coach Strick. If he can find a 2 and 3 starter that he can trust, or if he can find a Johnny Holstaff with that bullpen to make things work, the sky's the limit for South Jones. I think they've got talent. They may not be as talented as last year's team, but guys, how many times have we seen teams that, the year that they were supposed to get it done, the next year when the talent has dropped off is the year they get it done? Some say that's what happened with the team that beat them in the state championship last year. So I think anything's possible. And then when you go out to softball and you look at their new head coach, Madison Rayner, if you talk to Kevin, you went with me out there. Mm-hmm. Those girls are extremely excited to play for her. She comes over here. She played high school ball first at Heidelberg Academy, then finished her career after Heidelberg closed at Stringer. She's a championship pedigree. She went on to play at Southern Miss. Then she went on to play and coach at Southeastern Louisiana University. So she's somebody who's been a part of it. She was a part of a coaching staff. Sorry, Guru. She was part of a coaching staff that beat LSU twice in a regional, which, again, if you know anything about Southeast Louisiana, they're small potatoes to LSU. So that's a big deal. She's been a part of that. I think that these players all look like they've bought in. She's only got 2 seniors, but she's got a huge junior class. And the 2 seniors that she has in Scotty Ann Creel is one of them. And I think that she's definitely bought in on what it means to be a leader. So I think that that's another big thing when you look at the things. Then you got Casey Jones, who's a senior pitcher. You know, I talked with both of them. They love their new coach. They're bought in on being that leader. And then Coach had me talk to BK Ford, their junior shortstop, and you can tell, you know,
she's a firecracker.
Yeah, I mean, she was one of those that you can just tell. I'm really, really excited about the Lady Braves. I think that this team could be one of those teams that could make a long run. It wouldn't surprise me to look up and see them in South State, maybe even playing for a state championship this year, because I thought last year when I saw Sal Jones play, the talent was there. This year, I think they might have that final piece in being that coach that can maybe get them over the hump. Kevin, I know I did the preview, but you did a profile story on Coach Rayner. Tell me I'm wrong. Weren't you as impressed as I was with her?
I've been impressed. I've been impressed with Madison, man. Whenever I started, she was playing. She is a winner. I mean, there's just no other way to put it. Wherever she goes, she wants excellence. It's kind of like I talked about with Lane Jordan. Just has that winner's mentality, and she's going to find a way. And I think that she's young enough that she relates to the girls, and they're believing in her and what they can do. And like you said, you said it perfectly. They've got the talent. Not to say anything about the previous coaching staffs or anything like that, but I think that this coaching will mesh with this player's attitude. And I think that they do have a chance to go pretty far. I'm excited about South Jones softball just because knowing Madison, knowing her pedigree, the girls were great. I've done the photos for baseball and softball. They were just having a fun time out there. Yeah. And it was exciting to see whenever you have, and Guru, you know this, and Jack, you do too, whenever you have players who are just excited to be there, it makes your job easier to cover. And that's the case, I think, the way it is all the way around for South.
And I think that was, the experience I got with both softball and baseball.
Yeah.
Players are loose. They're all bought in. I think, you said the same thing with what you saw there at West. I think you felt the same way with what you saw at Northeast. Of course, we can talk real quick about how the seasons have gotten started. South Jones, they got a win over Taylorsville. I think it was 5-1. Correct me if I'm wrong on that. Of course, Northeast lost 6-1 to Columbia Academy, which is one of the top academies. I know people hear academy, public schools. That's a legit academy. So let's, again, there's a reason why Coach McKeever scheduled them. He wanted to test his boys. And then, of course, we saw where West Jones lost last night to Germantown,
right,
which is another tough program. All of this is part of the West Jones Classic. When we get to our picks, we've got a couple of fun baseball games we'll pick in that, but it's still too early to tell. So, I mean, even a win or a loss this early in a baseball season doesn't really tell you what you have yet. They're all still trying to figure things out. And a lot of them are going to be stepping up and playing some really, really tough competition early in order to try to make sure that they're ready to go. I just want to go through that real quick so we can get to our soccer playoff recaps, because that's one of the highlights, because we've got a lot of active teams in here. Kevin, you covered West Jones girls and boys first round matchup. Tell us what you saw out there, and should we be excited about Mustang soccer?
Yeah, I'm going to actually pull up my recap right now. Both games ended in shutouts, which if you've been following West Jones girls especially, that is not a shock. West Jones recorded their 14th shutout, not the 15th. The 14th shutout of the season from what I counted. Our person who does layout couldn't count the same. Anyway, But no, they recorded the 14th shutout. I know we talked about how first round matchups were usually blowouts, and I think I even said it that I thought this was going to be a mercy rule with the girls' game. It was not.
It could have been though.
It probably could have been, but Picayune decided they were going to park the bus, and West Jones only was able to put up 3. But if you watch that game, West Jones girls, even Coach Matt Reed said it, they controlled it throughout. There was never at any point where I felt like, maybe besides once or twice, where Picayune got into Mustangs territory to have a chance to score. They just played back, and they were hoping to maybe grind out and maybe pull the upset with a 1-0 game, But it just didn't happen. West Jones is they're just too good. Same way with the boys. The boys kind of controlled their matchup with Pascagoula throughout. I do want to say this. I didn't know. Someone close to the team told me that Pascagoula probably should have been a 1 or 2 seed in their region. They actually caught the flu for like 2 straight weeks.
Oh, wow.
And a lot of their starters couldn't play, and it dropped them down to the 4 seed.
Yeah.
So that game was, even though it was 3-0 game, I think it was impressive for what Pascagoula was able to do, but it was also impressive for West Jones that coming in with a team that probably should have been a little bit better than what they were, that had got dropped down to the 4 seed, they still beat them 3-0. Coach Sullivan was very excited. Again, they're hosting the playoffs throughout. Both him and Coach Reed told me as long as they keep winning, they're going to keep playing in Mustang Stadium until state championship time. So, yeah, they'll play Thursday night tonight, and
tomorrow night. You're releasing this on
we're
Wednesday.
releasing this on Wednesday.
Yeah,
But
we don't have to pretend to, because you always release it on Wednesday.
we broke the fourth wall. They'll be able to play Thursday night, and should be another good one. I expect to see the Mustangs at South State. I'll put it that way.
And you will definitely be there. Again, I know I have it down to preview afterwards, but I mean, since Kevin, you know a little bit about them, let's just go ahead and give us your quick preview. What do you expect out of West Jones girls versus Hancock and the boys versus Long Beach?
Talking to Coach Sullivan with the boys, he expects a physical game with Long Beach. They're a team that has routinely been, whether they've been in 5A or 6A, they're a team that's routinely been in the playoffs. I think it actually popped up in my Facebook memories that they played South Jones here just a few years ago, and South had a really talented team. They go down there and they get upset by Long Beach. I mean, these coast teams,
they're good.
They're good. I don't know if it's because they go out and run in the sand. I'm dead serious. Like, I don't know.
I think I'm going to throw something in there for you. They, before, soccer became strong in Jones County, once we got the sportsplex and got the soccer fields, they had been doing that, and they had been playing travel soccer going back to even before you and I were coming up through high school. That from the Jackson metro area schools, all your coast schools. I mean, in the late 80s, early 90s, they were already doing things with their soccer programs that we didn't really see around here until probably the early 2000s.
Look, Coast and the Jackson, Vicksburg area, they've had high school soccer team. Now, high school soccer wasn't sanctioned until I think 1988 or 1989. They didn't have a true state championship before then. But there have been high school soccer teams in those areas since the late 70s. I mean, Warren Central, where I played, they had teams in the late 70s. So, I mean, it's been around a lot longer than people realize. I think part of the reason why it grew in the Jackson Metro and Vicksburg, you had the Army Corps engineers, and you had a lot of Northerners who played. They came down and they brought the game with them. A lot of those folks moved to the coast, brought it there. And of course, then it eventually just worked its way throughout the state and here in the Free State as well. So it's fascinating to watch how it's grown. But yeah, the coast had it before it was here in the Free State, but now it's here. And I think that we're starting to really have some really, really great soccer teams here. Speaking of that, Guru. We're going to save one of these games that's going to come up, the preview, for later. But you covered South Jones. So tell us about the girls and the boys games, the first round matchups.
Yeah, both of them hosted on the reservation, and the boys will host as long as they keep winning. The girls, unfortunately, they're going to have to go on the road. I got a little nervous, to be honest. They were both playing Purvis, and the Purvis girls scored less than 4 minutes into the match to get things started, and I was kind of like, oh, this is not the type of start you want for the Lady Braves, but they were able to come back, and Cambry Freeman scored on a free kick. Oh, dude, she was. I mean, I went back and looked at my pictures, and it wasn't anything intentional. I mean, it could have been the spots where I was standing, but 75% of the photos of her controlling the ball. But they were able to get that goal to tie it, to go into halftime. Then they score again early, midway through the second half, and just were able to maintain that 2-1 lead and get the victory to move on. And I don't know how many seniors are on that team. To me, from watching them, they feel a little bit younger.
I think they are.
They got Coach Bridget Coleman, who anybody around here that knows the Coleman lineage and soccer, she married into that, and apparently was pretty darn good at soccer herself to garner a head coaching job. And there's a possibility, but what Kevin said a minute ago when I halfway cut him off, my apologies, how the coast is the Jones County Killers when it comes to soccer. Unfortunately, the Lady Braves are going down to East Central and Hurley, and I know those girls, the Lady Hornets, I believe have won a couple of state titles over the years. They're a really strong program, so that's going to be a really tough test going down there. They were a 9-1 winner over Van Cleve in their first round meeting, but when I went back and looked, South had played Van Cleve twice in district play, and Mercy ruled them in both of them. So who knows? That's why they play the game. Could be a good match there. On the boys' side, it's been a few years, fellas, since I've been out on the old soccer pitch. I don't know how the games you covered, Kevin, and the ones you've been to this year, Jack, are as far as. I mean, we know for one, and this is not a sexist comment whatsoever because it's factual. I mean, the boys' game is just a lot faster.
Oh, absolutely. 100%.
But the communication level during the boys' match compared to the girls' match, as soon as we had the opening kickoff, and I just hear the chatter back and forth from, the defense for Purvis talking towards the offense, vice versa, and both teams doing that, where it's in the girls' game, it was a lot more minimal than it was in the boys' match.
And I think that part of that goes back to what you said before. The girls are a young team, and the boys being a little bit old. They were like that last year on their run to South State. I mean, I was very, very impressed with Coach Gleason's team last year and this year.
Well, and this came from both teams, and this was a Purvis team that didn't even win 10 games this year. Mm-hmm. And they kind of stayed in it through the first half. They were only down 2-0 at halftime. South went on to win the match 5-1, but like I told you guys, that easily could have been a mercy rule. South hit the crossbar on one kick in the second half. They had two that went inside 12 inches going over the crossbar. Had two really strong saves on two good kicks by the goalie. So it could have got to that 7. It should have gotten to the 7-0 mark in the second half, probably around the 20 or 18 minute mark. Mm-hmm. Purvis got a lucky no disrespect, but it was just a lucky fluke goal. Their only goal of the match. The keeper for South Jones was outside of his box, and a kid for Purvis, it was just a lucky bounce off of a South Jones player, and it just fell right in his lap, and he was just able to flick one over the goalie, and the goalie just couldn't get back there to get it. But South Jones got the win, and they'll be hold on.
Let's say
no. They will be hosting a really big matchup on Friday night to see who goes to play for South State.
Perfect. And speaking of which, Kevin, you got to cover probably two really incredible, probably out of the games that were played, at least on the boys' side, which you'll save for last, was outside. But it sounded like both Northeast Jones soccer games were incredible games and close matchups. So start with that girls' game first, Kevin. Tell us about it.
It's actually the photo collage I'm building right now. I was definitely paying attention, but yeah, I was just trying to get that done. Man, I don't know which one to start with. I'll start with the girls first. So Northeast Jones, they faced Brookhaven in both boys and girls competition. Northeast Jones, the girls, I feel like they're really young in a lot of aspects, but they jumped out to a 2-0 lead on Brookhaven, won 4-3. They're going to advance to play Summerall, the Lady Bobcats. Some very familiar. Todd Sider's coached in the Free State. He's built up a powerhouse at Summerall. Just really good coach and really good team over there. But Northeast Jones, like Beth Stokely said, head coach there, she said that her girls just came out and worked the entire time. Despite what was happening on the field, she was referencing physical play. I think that it went back and forth. The Lady Tigers, they just never gave up. I think they matched Brookhaven's energy with the physicality. Jillian Butt scored in the first 12 minutes of the game, and then probably one of my favorite goals that I've watched all year was Nori Garcia.
Mm-hmm.
She is closer to midfield. I would say she was in the shadow of the midfield line, and she just has an opening, and she just boots one up. And I told you, Jack, this off camera, that ball went so high, and it just sailed right down, right below the top of the goalpost, and there was nothing the keeper could have done about it. And I've got a photo of her just watching it sail up, and I'm thinking, while I'm watching it, it seems like it's up there forever. There's no way it's going to drop. There's no way it's going to drop, and it just drops right in, and they get up 2-0. Brookhaven responds, makes it 2-1. Then Northeast Jones, they get a PK, and another one, they go up 4-1. But in the final 10 minutes of the game, Brookhaven storms back, and Coach Stokely was begging her girls, get back, drop back. They're fixing to push. And what happens? They don't drop back. And I've told y'all this before, Brookhaven, girls and boys, they have a lot of speed on the field. And they got out and got in that transition of kicking the ball way out and made it in a 2v1, 1v1, I think even a 3v1 on the goalie. And they scored back-to-back goals in the 70th minute and the 76th minute. Now, they held on, but that kind of worried me for what they're going to see at Summerall. But, hey, they matched up physically with Brookhaven. Brookhaven tried to make it a physical game, and Northeast Jones didn't match that energy. But the boys' game, I wish
I had been.
Goodness, man!
I wish I had been there.
Oh, it's so good. Again, physical game. Brookhaven had a ton of speed. I didn't tell you this, but there was at one point where Northeast Jones was just hammering Brookhaven's keeper, and he was blocking everything that he could block. And at one point there was a delay in action, and the ball came over there towards me, and I kicked it back to him. He thanked me, and I was like, "Man, you're just a brick wall." And he just kind of laughed and smiled about it. 2 minutes later, he gives up a goal.
That's how it always
was on a PK. I was like, I just jinxed the kid. It was on a penalty kick, but yeah, man, they jump out to a quick lead. Or to a lead, I should say. I think it was 2-0, and then Brookhaven scores, make it 2-1. and then they score again in just the final minutes to make it 2-2, and we go to overtime. And it was a physical game the entire way through. You get a couple of red card or a couple of yellow cards on both teams, and then Brookhaven gets issued a red card, so they're down one man.
Playing one man down.
They're playing one man down because that's what happens. You go from 11 to 10.
Yeah, you cannot sub for a player red card.
Yeah, you can't sub. And Matt Sykes, I mean,
and this is they played one overtime. This is the second overtime.
We're in the 100th minute. So if you don't know overtime rules, you have 80 minutes to play. Then you go into 2 10-minute halves. So that goes to 100 minutes. And then you go to second overtime, double overtime, which is sudden death.
Golden goal.
Yeah, golden goal ball, where you got 5-minute halves. And if it goes past that, you go into PKs.
Yep, shootout.
Yep, shootout. So we go to double OT, and I don't want to reveal too much, but I hear Coach Stroh talking to the kids, and he's like, "Look, we're getting beat up in the midfield. We're going to change stuff around." He was actually going to move Matt Sykes to mid, and Matt said no. He said absolutely not. And if you've ever seen Northeast play, Matt is very, very, very emotional, and he's very expressive. And that can be the good or the detriment of the team, to be perfectly honest, right? But he says no. He said, "I want to be at the top." And Stroh says, "Okay, we're leaving you at the top." And roughly 3 minutes in the double overtime, I think it was, Sykes gets the ball, goes down, cuts to my left, and drills one through the back of the net. Takes his shirt off, swings it, celebrating.
You got pictures of
I
it.
got some great photos. It was fantastic.
Go to leadercall.com.
Yeah.
You can see one of them.
Yeah, he slides down right in front of me, celebrating. Dog piles happen, but the commotion that takes place next.
And this is where we're going to have a discussion.
Yeah. I will say, looking back and kind of trying to collect my thoughts throughout delivering papers last night, a referee, do I want to say who it was?
No.
A referee hands out a yellow card to Brookhaven. Okay. So that player will actually have that card. I think it was actually maybe a red card. That player, if he's a junior, he will be forced to sit out the opener of next year. Okay. So just want to say that. But during the celebration, something supposedly happened. He issues another red card at the end of the game, after the goal, and now Northeast Jones is going to be down one of their starters.
Now that was yellow card, second yellow card.
Second yellow card turns into a red card.
Yep.
So,
and that's important because whatever the kid at Northeast did, and I'm sure you'll tell us who it is, that means that he didn't think that warranted the red, but the fact that he already had one made it a red. So go ahead and walk us through.
So I asked Coach Stroh kind of what was the justification there. He says that what he understood was he was taunting fans. I have pictures of him looking. I'm just going to say, I have pictures of him looking to the Brookhaven sideline. All right, that I've got the pictures.
Even has the ref in the background with the card coming out.
Then I've got him turning around, and he's looking dead at me. So, and he's still celebrating. He's like pulling his shirt and stuff, pulling his jersey. And that's where the ref is coming to throw the red card. He's in the process of either just throwing it or whatever. I think it was, I don't want to mess up his name. It's Mikel Ramirez. But I don't know. I saw the first yellow card, and I do think that it was justified. Because like I said, it was a physical game, and it was on the verge of getting too much.
Yeah, ref has to take control, because if they don't, it can get out of hand fast.
I mean, I think it was all three refs were, because they were jawing. I'm not going to say that it was all Brookhaven's fault. I want to make sure I'm not biased towards our guys here. They were jawing. They told them to shut up several times, play the game, stop being so physical. I heard that. Okay. The celebration, I don't know what the kids said. Okay. I feel like the reason why it was a red card is maybe he heard him say something
It was it, and it's important. It was a yellow card
that turned into a red
because
card.
it was the second yellow.
Right. Because he had got the yellow card on him.
Yep.
If it was just Tony, I don't know. Y'all have y'all's opinions on it. I was there. Everybody was celebrating. I wish we could sit here and talk about it. I wish the kid would have just celebrated with his team.
Yeah.
You know, we could sit here and talk
Then
about.
we wouldn't be talking about it at all.
Yeah, we can sit here and talk about, was the card justified? Was it not? If he goes and just joins the dog pile,
Yeah.
it's probably not talked about. Unfortunately.
Now, Guru, since I've played, you know, I can go in a little more. So I'm going to let you have your opinion on, because again, this kid is, because it happened at the end of the game, he is now suspended for the next game. He may be suspended if they win the next game. He may be suspended for the South State Championship game as well, because I think it is a 2-game suspension now in high school, but we'd have to look that up to be sure. But I think it's a 2. So Guru, knowing what Kevin just laid out, the little facts that we have, in fact, I pointed out that it was initially the yellow card warning, but because it was his second, turned into a red. What's your opinion of this card being thrown out at the end of the game?
Well, for clarification, the yellow card that he was initially given was during the match over a too rough of a play from what Kevin told us. You know, when Kevin informed us of this, you know, I sat there, read the text a couple of times, and started thinking about it. And watching a football game on a Friday night, as soon as the final horn goes off, where do the officials go?
To the locker room or to their change room.
They're gone. Same thing in basketball. When the game is officially over, in my opinion, and I there could be rules, and I mean, there's things that I've seen in my lifetime locally in the high school level, on the collegiate level, where something similar, not the exact same situation, but I've seen a referee running off a basketball court when something happened after the game's over, has a coach stop him, point it out to him. The referee just puts his hands up. You know, my time ended when the horn sound. That's what he get paid for. To me, to do something as the official to this kid after the game is over, I think, unless there's some different rule, I don't think that's in the ref's scope of work. I think what should have happened is that referee, if he heard, saw, or whatever, he goes, he gets Coach Strew. They proceed to get whatever administrators for Northeast Jones are there. He gives them the situation. This is what I saw. This is what I heard. I'm letting you guys know, and then you leave it up to the school to determine whatever course of action needs to be taken against the player. With that being said, I know Jack has experienced some things and been in somewhat of a similar situation.
Not on the high school level, but yeah.
But, you know, I just think once the game is over, that's the end of it for the officials. Because, I mean, there's things that have happened on a football field where after post game during handshakes, we've had things that started to happen, and who steps in at that point? Because I've watched it on one of our football fields, the coaches for both teams and the security that's in the stadium, because the refs are already gone. And I'll just leave it at that. That's my 2 cents.
Well, you know, having played soccer, I will tell you, Guru, it is a little different. That after the game, you know, because you're supposed to have the line up and do the handshake, the refs are still a part of that. They're still observing at the end. You can get a card after the game. I have been carded, got a red card after a game. It wasn't a high school game. It was a rec game, but one of the opposing players. We were going through the handshake line. He punched me in the chest. So, of course, I hollered back at him to come back. And, of course, the ref heard me, didn't see him, gave me the red card. So I've seen it. I've also seen it where it was in high school. We were playing against Meridian, and we had one black player on our team, and when the handshake, they started throwing out the N-word at him, and we had to hold our player back so he wouldn't get thrown out. Of course, the ref didn't hear it, but we understood. So as soccer players, you understand that the ref can still throw you out after the end of the game. It is understood. I knew it as a player. I guarantee you the players on both teams understood this. The fact that it was a second yellow that turned into a red, that tells me that the ref didn't want to, he just wanted to warn him. Because a yellow is a warning. But the problem is, once you've been warned once, that second warning turns into a red. So it tells me that what he did was warranted the warning, but because of what he had done during the game, now it's 2. So the red card is issued. And I understand it. Again, didn't hear what the kid said, but again, I kind of agree with Guru, especially because it's the playoffs. Unless he was over there challenging them to come fight him or something like that, take it to the coach, let it be handled in-house. There's so much at stake in these games. I don't necessarily like it, but again, I don't want to be too critical of the ref because I did not hear what he heard. I did not see, because for all we know, the kid mouthed off to the ref afterwards. We don't know. Yeah. So I don't want to be too harsh on the ref because I do think, look, I grew up, when I played, guys, the refs were terrible. Most of them didn't understand the game. They didn't know the game. They had certainly not played soccer. The refs in this area, and I told an officiating crew last year when I covered a soccer playoff game at West Jones, that was the best officiated game I had ever seen.
Yeah.
And I have been very, very impressed with the refs in this area. So that's part of the reason why I don't want to turn this into the refs are terrible. I just, again, I guess my thought is he probably did or said something that warranted the warning, and because on instinct of the ref, not thinking about it's a playoff game, not thinking about instinctively gave him the yellow and then realized that's a second, here's the red. But again, next time, it's a lesson learned. It sucks that it's going to cost him in the game that we're going to talk about here coming up. But again, I can understand it because it is understood by every soccer player that until both teams are over on their sideline, the refs are still watching. Yeah. It's understood. And that's where I say that, yeah, he should have known that. I get excitement. I get but again, yeah. And again, if you play other sports like baseball, how many times did we see players taunt the other fans or mouth back at the other team? That's part of those games. In soccer, they want it to be more respectful, and they'll let you get away with some. That's why I think that maybe he just took it across the line. I still wish that they had figured out a way to handle it without the suspension coming up, but it is what it is.
And I'll add on to this, Jack. This is the veteran crew.
Mm-hmm.
All 3 of those referees have been doing this for years. It's not like that it was just some crew that I didn't know, and that either team didn't know either. This is a veteran crew. So it's unfortunate. I just say this, like you said, we just got to get a move on.
Yeah.
Because we got some picks.
Yeah.
Well, I'll say that my comment is not directed to any of the officials. Mine is directed at the rule.
Right.
Because,
yeah, for sure.
I mean, if you're going to do that in one sport, then you should do it in every sport.
For sure.
Understand. Well, and before we get into our picks, we do, because I wouldn't let Guru preview it earlier, we do have a marquee matchup in the second round because Northeast Jones is traveling to the reservation to play South Jones. A rematch of a regular season game in which they tied 1-1. I covered that game, and it was a great, great game. These two teams are fairly evenly matched, guys. I mean, I know you've seen South, you've seen Northeast, you've seen South. I've seen them play against each other. Now, it was earlier in the year. I think it was before Christmas, if memory serves me correctly. I don't know that either of them had found their full footing yet. So again, I'm excited because the biggest thing is it guarantees that we will have a Free State representative in the 5A South State Championship again. So that's exciting from that standpoint. It's going to be played on Friday night. We are planning on going, so all three of us are going to be there. We are planning on doing some live broadcast before halftime and after the game. So check out the Laurel Leader Calls Facebook page because we will be there. And I'm just excited about it. Kevin, you saw that game the other night. How excited are you to know that we're getting two county schools facing off?
Yeah, I mean, we're just guaranteed one to go to South State. That's the biggest thing is we're guaranteed one to make it. Coach Stroh talked about it after the game that it's been a long time since Northeast Jones was able to make it to a South State championship and compete, and they've got an opportunity to. Despite the player ordeal, you're still in it.
Yep.
You're still in it. South Jones, one of the most unselfish teams that I know. That
We're
I've
there
watched.
last year in the South State.
Made a state championship run. Were we going into pick'ems?
No.
Okay.
I've got the pick'ems in order,
Gotcha.
so we're
Okay.
saving the
Gotcha.
pick'ems.
Gotcha. Yeah, super excited.
Yeah, this will be a fun matchup. Like Jack said, they played a couple months back, 1-1 tie. Typically in soccer, you don't get a whole lot of fans. But I got a sneaky feeling with this being a Friday night and being in Ellisville on the reservation, we're going to have a good crowd there. I know for a fact that the South Jones student section will show up and show out and be loud and rowdy. They'll probably have a good 40 to 50 students there at least. I mean, they had almost 20 there for a first round game the other night against Purvis. So I think the atmosphere is going to be one of the better ones that we are going to experience this soccer postseason. And it should be one heck of a matchup.
And again, no wild card this week because we're all tired and we've run long anyway. But I mean, how excited are you guys that all three of us are going to get to go and do live broadcast and be there to watch two county schools just bash each other's heads and go for a shot at South State? Kevin, I know I'm excited.
Golly, we had a Walking Dead back into the heads. My gosh, no, it's gonna be really fun. It'll be really fun if we're all three there and doing this, and I'm excited for some of the live stuff.
Guru, I know you're always a little shy when the cameras turn on.
Yeah, you catching me off guard again. No, I mean, like I said, I think it's going to be the atmosphere. The atmosphere is going to be almost as much fun as whatever we get to watch in the actual game itself.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Well, let's get to our picks, and we're only this week as far as college basketball only doing the state schools this week, and we're only originally I told Guru I wasn't even going to do college basketball, but then I saw Mississippi State is at Ole Miss, so you've got the collegiate Egg Bowl, I guess, if you will. They've already played once. I think Ole Miss won the matchup in Starkville. So again, in this matchup, I think Ole Miss will protect home court. So I mean, I think it could go either way, but give me the Rebels in this one, Kevin.
Jack hates Mississippi State.
I don't. I really don't.
But with that said, go Rebs.
Yeah, these are two teams that right now, in regards to March Madness, are on the outside looking in. In order for one or both to even sniff the 68-team field, this is a very key pivotal game for both of them. Even though Ole Miss won the first game on the road, they're playing at home, and I think they'll get the season sweep over the Bulldogs in the Pavilion on Saturday.
And that actually pains Guru because he actually does hate Ole Miss.
Yes.
I do not hate State.
Wow.
State's been struggling too much down the backside of this season.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I've seen. And then next we've got Troy traveling to Hattiesburg to take on USM. Last week, I was the only one who lucked into picking USM to upsetting Kent State. I'm not picking the upset this week. I think Troy will get them.
Did they upset them?
They did.
Wow.
By 1 point. That's what Gu and I were talking about because he was shocked too. Look, I said it last week. I said I just picked them on a whim. Did not feel good about it, and then they figured out a way to get it done. So, hats off to the Golden Eagles, but Troy's going to come in there and they're gonna hurt their feelings in Hattiesburg.
You know what? I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna.
That's what I'm talking about.
I'm gonna pick Troy.
That's what I thought he was going to sound.
Yeah, it's not going to be a clean sweep. The Eagles do it again 2 weeks in a row with the home upset. Give me to the top.
I inspired Guru. I didn't inspire myself, but I inspired Guru here. Now let's get into a couple of baseball games to pick at the West Jones Classic. We've got South Jones is taking on Presbyterian Christian there at West Jones. South Jones, we still don't really know what they have. They looked impressive against Taylorsville. PCA has always been a good baseball program on the academy level. Now they're playing in the public school level. I think this is going to be a really good game. It's hard for me to pick against Coach Strick and his boys. So give me the Braves in this one. I think it's going to be a really, really tight game.
Yeah, I'm taking Presbyterian Christian in this one. They're rolling.
They are loaded.
Former St. Louis Cardinals player as their head coach.
Oh, and that's all the more reason why I picked South Jones. Mm-hmm. Screw those demon birds.
Yeah, I'm going to side with Kevin. South Jones has got kind of like Northeast Jones, got some things to figure out on the diamond in the early going. I think PCS will just be a little bit too much for them to handle.
Next, we've got the intercounty matchup of Northeast Jones versus West Jones, also part of the West Jones Classic there at West Jones. Again, both teams started the season off with a loss. Both teams really want to beat each other. It's at West Jones. I think they're a little bit stronger at this point than the Tigers. So give me the Mustangs in this one.
Same. Give me the Mustangs. Northeast Jones got to find a way to hit. They'll work it out.
They will.
They got to get consistency in the hitting department.
Yeah, McKeever's too good of a coach for him not to.
Yeah, it's going to be a sweep here. I think West Jones just right now, despite what's transpired in the very early going of the season, they're just a little bit more all around, just a hair better than Northeast right now, and take care of home turf for the win.
Now we're getting into our soccer playoffs, and we're going to start on the girls' side of things. Hancock traveling to West Jones on Thursday night. I think this is going to be a tough game, but West Jones is going to prevail, in my opinion. Give me the Lady Stangs.
Same here. Give me the Lady Stangs. I'm gonna go one step further. They're gonna pitch another shutout. They're gonna get that 15th.
I like it. So that way it'll be accurate.
It'll be accurate. It was accurate in the story, but the headline for some reason wasn't accurate.
I don't know how that could happen.
I don't either.
Yeah, same for me. Lady Mustangs.
Next game, we've got Northeast Jones at Summerall. Northeast Jones has been a heck of a story this year. They could pull off an upset here if their goalie is hot. We've seen her keep them in games they had no business being in. But I think Summerall's going to be too much for them. It pains me to pick against the Lady Tigers, but I think Summerall's going to end their season.
Yeah, they're going to need some Garcia magic here from both goalie and the striker. Her forwarder, she's just everything. Yeah. She's just everything. But they're going to need some magic against Summerall. Summerall's a team that could potentially go on and just win it all.
Yeah.
So I'm going to take the Bobcats.
Yeah, I think in 5A South, I think going to come down to Summerall and the team we're going to feature next from the Coast region. So, yeah, Lady Bobcats as well.
Guru may have given us a spoiler who he's picking in this next matchup, and that's South Jones traveling to Long Beach. South Jones.
That should be South Jones at East Central.
At East Central. Yeah, that's apparently I looked at the West Jones boys and typed the wrong one. Thank you for that, Goo.
Yep.
So South Jones traveling to East Central. Look, South Jones is a good team this year, but I don't think they're quite ready to take that next step yet. So I think that East Central gets by them, but I think it's another one of those years where they're learning, they're getting better. I hope to get proven wrong, but give me East Central.
Yeah, I think that South Jones, the Lady Braves, are a little bit too reliant on Freeman. And I think that East Central is going to be able to kind of zone in on her. Will they limit her to no goals? No. I think that she'll find a way to get a goal. But I think as far as a team goes, I think that East Central is probably going to dispatch South.
Yeah, unfortunately, it's going to be a clean sweep for me as well. It's just that, it's tough not only playing a coastal team, but having to go down there and make that trip to Hurley, because we all know once you get outside of our county, we kind of get crapped on when we go play in other districts around the state. They're not too keen on folks from Jones County for some reason.
Goodness, I think that's why we're excited on the boys' side, because we at least have 2 home teams, although one of the teams playing is also a road team, and we only have 2 matchups. So we've got first, let's start with the Long Beach, this time correctly, Long Beach at West Jones. Man, those Mustangs, they've just been impressive. 2 losses on the year. That's it, and one of them was to a powerhouse, Oak Grove. The other one was to South Jones. They and both of them, they only lost by 1 goal in each of them. So I think this is a team on a mission. I think they're going to the state championship game. Spoiler alert for next week's picks, assuming we get this right. So give me the Mustangs to hold home field.
Dang, Jack, you took my momentum there. I think this is the year. I don't want to jinx them, but I'm just going to go ahead and say it. Coach Sullivan, man, he's had some really good West Jones teams, and some teams where I have been heartbroken for them whenever they get to South State or they get to second round, and you just, man, something always happens.
Yeah, we thought last year they were going.
Yeah, but I think this is the year. I think this is the team that can break through, and I'm picking West Jones to fly the freaking W, baby.
Yeah, I think we're going to agree all the way down this picks on the soccer side, and I agree with Jack's pick, and a spoiler alert for next week. I think we will see this group of Mustangs playing for a state championship here in a couple of weeks.
Man, it'll be exciting, and of course, next game, the game of the week, of course, because how could it not be when it is two county schools, 2 teams that played each other to a 1-1 tie earlier this year. It's going to be a tough. Now, last game, the 1-1 tie was in the Jungle. This time, they're coming to the reservation. I've coached one of the players at Northeast, Sam Upchurch. Great young man.
Good kid.
Great kid. Great parents. Sam, I hate to do it to you, but I just don't think y'all are going to get it done in the reservation. I think the Braves are going to win this game. I think it's going to be a good game. I think it's going to be tight, but I think you're coming off of a double overtime game, and you lost one of your best players due to the red card. I think it's going to be a little too much, and I think South Jones takes care of business, goes back to their 2nd straight South State championship game.
This is a tough one for me, and even though I will say this, I was going to kind of give some stuff to Guru, right? Pull back the curtain a bit. I've got a daughter, goes to Northeast. He's got a stepson, goes to South Jones. This is a time where we actually get to see these 2 teams play. She's probably going to be at the game with me for this one. Has no idea about soccer, but she's going to be there more than likely because she'll be going with me. Like you said, double overtime, high emotions, backs against the wall, but the Tigers found a way to win. And South Jones, fundamentally one of the better teams in the area.
Yeah.
Great.
One of the only 2 teams to beat that West Jones team.
Yeah, man. I appreciate what Gleason does there. He's an SWA guy. Loves what he's doing with the wrestling stuff, right?
Look, hockey's on break during the Winter Olympics. That's why you didn't get a wrestling segment this
We
week.
have that little, I think we both like the wrestling, and it's going to be a wrestling match Friday night.
Busting heads.
Yeah, busting heads. With that said, though, you better get ready. Play the chop, baby. Play the chop. South Jones, they're winning this game. They're winning this game. Just too much, I think, for Northeast.
Yeah, I think the South Jones team, with what they experienced last year, getting so close to doing something that's never been done in boys soccer at South Jones, winning a state championship.
In the county, has there been a state championship soccer team out of Jones County?
There's been multiple.
In boys side?
Boys,
Yeah, I think Northeast.
West,
Did they?
Northeast. Yeah. I think South is the only one of the 3 county schools that
Gotcha.
doesn't have a boys.
I knew girls had
I'm
had
pretty
one,
sure all
but
3 girls have won one in the past. But as you get up in age, you tend to forget. And with the great statistics kept by the MHSAA, we all know who won what whenever. Good luck finding that on the internet. That being said, it'll be a war. It'll be a war of attrition. Even though they'll have 11 on the field, Northeast is going to be hampered by being out with one of their key players. Unfortunately for them, I really liked what I saw out of South Jones the other night, and the fact that it's on the reservation, I don't really know that really matters. They could play this game at Northeast. They can go to West, Laurel, Jones College. It doesn't matter where they're playing. I just think in the end, from listening to what you guys talked about with what you've seen with Northeast and then seeing my own with South Jones, I think South is just going to be too much, and it's just it should be a good match, but I think South will win by a couple of goals.
Well, Kevin, why don't you play the chop to play us out of here, since you already said to play it? Hopefully you should be playing it because we think they're going to win. But, again, it's going to be a close game. Wouldn't shock us if it goes the other way. Of course, we will be there live before the game, live at halftime, live after the game. I'm Jack Fairchilds, and for Kevan Lindsey and Josh Guru Nichols, we will see you on Friday night.